All right. Hello and welcome back. Brett here with clickmill.co. In this video, we're going to get more in depth with each phase of the marketing funnel. And as we do, I'm going to share my screen, but I want to point out if you haven't yet watched the video in the course, the video course on the Ministry Growth Bible Study, which is good if you're in Christian business or in Christian ministry, or you're on the line and there in the middle. A lot of our audience is. If you haven't yet watched that, watch that because you will be amazed at how much overlap there is between Christ's ministry and a modern marketing funnel. And I remember, gosh, maybe 6 or 7 years ago now, when I started Clickmill and I was just praying about this. I'm like, can I actually teach marketing concepts to ministries? Is that biblical? And I started reading through the New Testament multiple times and looking, and I was amazed that what businesses, secular businesses, over the last 150 years have figured out is almost identical to what Jesus just intuitively knew in the New Testament. He is the best influencer to have ever walked the planet. He did it so well, and he follows a 5-step process to influence the people around him. And it's not manipulative at all. It's not manipulative at all. He's obviously doing it to bring people closer to Christ. And so in that course, you'll see, and that's the Ministry Growth Bible Study. In that course, you'll see how Jesus is going through 5 steps over and over. We pull from a number of stories in the New Testament, and he's doing these 5 steps repeatedly because they just work. And those steps are right here in the marketing funnel. So I encourage you to go watch that and see if you can't figure out how those two kind of map on top of each other. But I'll go ahead and I'll share my screen and we'll come over here to, all right, here we go. We'll come here. So I've added in a bunch of actual marketing terms and strategies onto our marketing funnel. Now, we remember the connect phase. In the connect phase, we're meeting them for the first time. And so what are we going to do? We're going to go out to our audience, okay? We don't wait for our audience to come to us and hope they come to church. If you believe the old adage that if you build it, they will come, you will not have a successful ministry. 99% odds on that one. Take my word for it. If you build it, they will not come. Why won't they come? Because you're the 52nd Baptist church, or you're the 37th Christian plumber in town. There's so many options. You have to go find your audience. You cannot just wait for them to come to you. That only works if you're the first in town. If you're the first Baptist and that's the only church in town, everybody's a Baptist and you're the only place to go, then they'll come. It doesn't work that way anymore, especially in more developed areas of the world where there are lots of options. So you go out to them and you connect with them. How do you do that? You meet a need. Okay, so Jesus goes out to the fishermen, he gives them fish. He goes out to the blind man and he gives him sight. He didn't heal his back pain. He didn't, fix his stubbed toe. He's blind, gave him sight. He gives the lame the ability to walk. He, the boils, the leprosy, he heals the leprosy. So he always meets the most deeply felt need. The 4,000 on the mountain, what does he do? He goes out to them, he gives a sermon, he meets the need for the education, and then what's he do? He feeds them. He gives hungry people food. And so wine at the wedding, I can go all day. He figures out what the need is, and he just sort of intuitively knows this because he's just way better at this than anybody I've ever met. But he figures out what the need is and he meets it and he goes out to them when he does it. Okay, so we go out to our audience. Where do we go out to our audience? Well, YouTube. You want to make awesome sermon videos or shorts or whatever it is you want to do, you go out to YouTube and you meet the need on YouTube. Now, YouTube marketing, we've got a whole course on it that talks about how to meet the need on YouTube because that's not obvious right off the top. Physical outreach. You want to go and do a homeless ministry. You want to do a cleanup around your town. You want to do some kind of, you want to go to the nursing home. I remember when I was a kid, I was in youth ministry, we did a lot of nursing home outreach. And I played a lot of bingo. It's a hidden skill of mine. But okay, physical outreach. So we actually go out into our community and meet and reach the lost there. Okay. Advertising. What does advertising do? We go out onto Google or out onto Pinterest or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or wherever it is we're advertising. We go out, a billboard over the highway. It's not in your church. It's out where people are. And the attempt is to meet a need that they have or offer to meet a need. Now, if an advertisement doesn't work or your physical outreach doesn't work, there are only, and this is the case with all of these blogs. Where do blogs go? Blogs go to YouTube or YouTube. They go to search engines like Google or Bing or Yahoo or whatever it is. And so these strategies, there are only two reasons that they don't work. And I get this question from ministry leaders all the time. Well, why doesn't our marketing work? There's only two reasons. Because the marketing isn't done properly or you're not meeting a need. Those are the only two reasons your marketing doesn't work. If nobody's showing up from your marketing, it's not reaching the right people. That's what marketing does. Or it reaches the right people and they don't care what you're saying because it doesn't meet their need. People, human nature is people go where their needs are met. There's just no way about it. You know, if I offer a nickel to, how do I say this? When I get up and I speak with people, I'll pull out like a 20 or a 50 or $100 bill and I'll just be like, hey, first person to get to me gets to keep it. And if it's like a nickel or a dollar, there's nobody going to run up on stage in front of that many people to snag a dollar. Well, what does that say about me that I'd run for a dollar? But for $100, you pull out 100, you would be amazed at how fast people move. You want to know how to get people to church, you just meet a need. If people don't come to church, it means that the audience that you're trying to reach is saying either I can't hear you or you're not meeting my need and I'm not interested. The way that I explain this in a lot of my consulting calls is what I call it's basically a great idea. I've got a great idea, and this is what we do in ministry all the time. It's what entrepreneurs do all the time. I've done this, and you sort of, you have a light bulb moment. You lick your finger. Oh my gosh, I have this brilliant idea. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the store. We're going to get these big, giant, the biggest ones we can find, these pickle jars. And we're going to take all the pickles out. We're going to throw those in the trash. We don't need those for this idea because this is better than that. Okay. And then we're going to get little cups and little popsicle sticks, and we're going to pour that pickle juice into all those cups. We're going to put the popsicle stick in and we're going to freeze it. And we're going to sell pickle pops. Nobody's doing that. It's one of a kind idea. It's amazing. We're going to, whatever it is, we're going to change the world. And we can ask all day long, well, why aren't people buying my pickle pops? Why aren't people? Because people don't want pickle pops. And the reality of ministry and Christian business is that 99% of your ideas, and it's probably less than that, but I go with 99 because I want to find the one that works. 99% of ideas don't work. People don't like 99% of things. There are more ways to do something wrong than there is to do something right. So if you're introducing a service in your business and you're sure you're getting the right audience, it's probably because the audience doesn't want it. And that is okay. Just cut it, scratch it. Same thing with ministries at churches. If you know you're connecting and you know you're telling them, hey, we've got a brand new men's ministry where we're going to lift weights. If I'm in your church, I'm not going to be there because as great as that is, I'm not a weightlifter. It's not my thing. And so that doesn't meet a need. So I'm not going to be there. And so if you consistently, and you're sure I'm getting the right audience, I know we're hitting them with the marketing and they're not, it's a pickle pop. Throw it away. We wasted some money on pickles and pickle juice. Take the loss, learn from it, go start something that people want. Ask them what they want. What do you want from our ministry? What would meet your deepest need? What would be a powerful improvement to your life? Oh, well, I need financial education. I need counseling for my marriage or whatever it is. Do that. Just figure out what they want and do it. So this is the connect. If you're advertising, if you're marketing, your YouTube, your physical outreach, your social media outreach, if all that's going out and you're not getting anything back, you're either not reaching the right people or they don't want what you're offering. Now, the target audience, this is another important thing. You may be getting tons of stuff out there, but you're getting it to the wrong people. And we have to know who our audience is. If you're trying to do missions in Kenya, I don't know if that's where you're going, or missions to the United States at this point. Probably we need some missionaries, but send them over. But if you're doing missions, And you've got a bunch of people in your church who don't like missions. Or how do I say this? You're reaching out to an audience and they're not passionate about missions. They can be the biggest Christians in the world. They can be super passionate about the relationship with God, but they're called to disciple the people right there around their community. They don't want to go on missions. It's not the right audience. So you have to make sure that the people who are in your ministry and around your ministry are the audience for the thing you want to do. And if you're trying to do something new, we had a client that came in a while back, and they wanted to start an inner city ministry for single moms. And in that city, the single moms were African American and had multiple children and did not have fathers. Well, you cannot talk to everyone. You have to figure out what are their exact problems and how do we meet those exact needs. Where do we find the moms? Daycares. That's the only place their schedules interact. And so we have to be very, very targeted at the audience we communicate with. So when we're doing our marketing, we cannot talk to everyone. If you're talking to everyone, you're not talking to the inner city single mom who is only ever going to see you at daycare. That is a different kind of communication. When I buy my wife a gift, I don't buy a gift for any woman. I buy a gift for my wife, because if I just get whatever, a fancy diamond ring, my wife would be upset. She does not care. She does not like it. She would say that is a huge waste of money, and I would be in trouble. That would not be the right move because she is different than everyone. And so same thing with your ministry. When we connect, we have to talk to the right person. So we have to know our audience, and we have to meet a need that that person actually has. And this is called, so when we go out to these places, social media marketing, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, Google, Yahoo, Bing, wherever it is that you're going, over the highway, for goodness sakes, wherever it is that you're going, you're going out, you're offering to meet a need, you're going to the right person, and you're saying, now, you like that, come over here. And this is generating traffic to your ministry or your business. So that is called traffic generation marketing. Now, there are some marketing firms that specialize in traffic generation, and this is kind of how would I say, the less experienced marketing, because it's like, well, hey, I'll get you more likes on your Facebook. We're just, trying to do what looks like sending people to, your pages, or I'll get you more views on your YouTube videos. Okay, maybe, sure. Is it even qualified traffic? That's the issue, is like, these people don't even know what my ministry is about and they don't care. So there are marketing firms, and there are some really good ones that specialize in traffic generation. Hey, we're going to get more people into your website and you do the rest. Okay, so that is a traffic generation marketing firm. Now let's move down. We're moving down to conversions. In conversion marketing, what we want to do is take them from being the passive viewer of whatever it is that you have over to an active participant. Now, how do you do that? You have to get name, email, and phone number. And I want you to realize this is a critical step, because a lot of ministry leaders, if you're watching this, Christian business leaders too, but this is primarily a pastor church concept. Most business people aren't really falling for this trick. But many ministry leaders that I've talked to think that social media is just the most amazing thing. A lot of churches won't even have websites, and they just have a Facebook page. And they say, well, our audience is on Facebook. And to that, I would say your audience is not on Facebook. Because how do you have a relationship with someone? You have their contact information. When I call up my mentor, I'm not going through Facebook and messaging him. I have his phone number. When he gets a new phone number, he's like, hey, that's my business number now. Here's my new cell phone number. That's how you know you have a relationship. And do you know that all of these social media platforms know that too? And that is why there's no way under the sun that you're ever going to get emails, names. You're not going to get any of this from any of these platforms, because they know whoever controls the contact information is whose audience it is. So your number one goal is to go out where they're at, social media, let's say, Google, advertising, whatever it is, and you invite them to your website or into your church, if we're speaking physically in the physical world, and you get contact information so you can have a relationship. Your email list is your audience and no one else. Your phone number list is your audience and no one else. The day if you don't hear it now, The day that you get kicked off of whatever social media platform your supposed audience is going to be the day you realize they were never your audience. Because as soon as someone decides they don't like you, or they don't like what you say or preach or teach, or they have a bug in their system and they just have an error, you will realize you do not have an audience. And that is not how you want to figure that out. I have a good friend. He actually leads other courses, and he has told me the frustrations of trying to communicate with clients and viewers through YouTube is extraordinarily difficult. There are all kinds of restrictions to communicate with these people who are very committed. And it's like, okay, how do we get them off of YouTube and over here on my own platform? If you are a ministry or Christian business, you need to have your own platform with your own audience that's backed up somewhere, so that if the internet goes down and someone cuts the internet cable halfway around the world and all the servers go down, you got a hard drive and you can get back up, drop that right back into your system, and you're good to go. Okay, so when we convert, how do we get them to sign up? Okay, a lead magnet. A lead magnet is a brochure. Sign up right now, get your free brochure. Get 10% off your first time purchase. Sign up today for the discount. Save your seat and get front row parking. I don't know, whatever it is that we're trying to do with ministries, there's all kinds, like save your seat, get a tour, meet the pastor, whatever it is. And on Clickmill, it's a free strategy session, book a call. We've got that. Where do we have that? That's a lead magnet. And that is in, I think, all of the courses, book a call, because some people are watching these videos and what do they want to do? They're like, oh my gosh, we need some stuff done for our church. And they want to speak with us. Okay, cool. We'll book a call. It's a lead magnet. What am I doing? I'm meeting a need in exchange for some basic information. So that's what we want to do. And it's a lead magnet. Why? Because we're meeting a need, and that attracts people. So this is not subscribe to our email list. No, that is not meeting a need. Everybody figured out in the early 2000s that if I put myself on an email list, I'm going to get a giant inbox of spam. Nobody's going to do that. That is going to be a very low converting, right? Here we go. Conversion, signing up, a very low converting attempt at building an audience. So instead, you give them something they want right there. And so, for example, with this course, get access to all this really high quality training, get my free account. Oh, all right. Well, I'll fill out 4 or 5 fields for that. Cool. Let's do it. And here you are. Okay. So that's a lead magnet. A free consultation, download the app. This is a call to action, save my seat. These are all different ways to get people to sign up. And this is called lead generation marketing. So for examples, we work with a lot of Christian schools. If someone calls the school, we're routing that call through a call tracking service, and it's giving them name and phone number of that caller. Now we're not dependent. If someone gets up for coffee and they miss the phone, we have, Greta, I don't know, Schmeta, I don't know, whatever Greta's last name is, and we got her phone number and they call her back. That is now a lead. So we have generated a lead. Before working with a lot of these Christian schools, what happens? We get someone who calls, they hang up, and it's a goose egg. Nothing happens because we didn't catch the number while it was ringing. Okay, so we turn the call into a lead, and then we can follow up. Hey, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I just got it for coffee. I saw you called. What can I do for you today, Greta? And now we're talking about scheduling a tour with the school, and we've got a new student. And so we want to generate leads by offering a lead magnet, something that is valuable to that specific audience, or specific buyer persona, however you want to say that specific audience that you're targeting. So we have the lead generation marketing. That's what it's called. We don't just generate traffic into the ministry or business or website. We're actually capturing people who are interested in what we have to offer. And that is a lead. So we are generating leads. So that's called lead generation marketing firms. That's what we do here when we do marketing for clients. We say, is it really possible that we have the skill set to generate leads for this type of ministry or business? And we don't specialize in everything, but we really focus in on a lot on services. But can we generate leads here? And if the answer is yes, then great. We'll do lead generation marketing. And that takes a fair bit of skill, because you have to, from this point, it's not just getting anybody to show up. It's going out to the specific places, whether it's social media, which social media platform. if it's a video advertising platform or a search engine or whatever it is, you're going out, you're finding the right audience, you're inviting them back, you're giving them a lead magnet, something that they want and gives them value. You're giving it to them for free. And now you've got follow-up information for that ministry or business, and you hand it off and you say, all right, here they are, go get them and go build a relationship with them. All right, so that's conversion. And these are different ways that we get conversions in our ministries and our Christian businesses. Now, moving on, close. When we move into the close, this is the relationship building process. So what falls in here? And this is the sales process. Okay, now, whether a church is or isn't a business is not really the point of this, but there is a relationship building process. And one of the things that is true, however we want to define things, is that if you have a mortgage and if you have to pay light bills for your church, you have to have a minimum amount of income coming in. And this isn't the point of the church. This is just a requirement of staying in business. I guess we'd say in church. If you want to stay in church, you have to bring in a certain amount of money. And so that means you have to have people showing up, and there has to be, at least in most cases, a minimum level of tithe. So is the intent to get money? No, the intent is the kingdom and building people in Christ and all of this. I totally get it. And also, there's kind of a sales process because we have to meet the needs in a way where people are going to want to freely give us money so that we can pay these bills minimally. Now, the cool thing is if you can exceed that, we get to take the leftover and allocate that back into bringing people into relationship with Christ. So is there a sales process in ministries, Christian ministries that are not profit oriented? Yeah. The more money you bring in, the more you have to turn around and go back out and share Christ and share the gospel and do ministries and meet needs like Christ did. That takes funding. Paul says it takes funding. Paul's selling things over here to fund his ministry, right? He's tent making. Ministries have to be able to also bring in enough income, however it's done. So all of that to say, we have a relationship building process. We have a sales, and I'm saying that loosely for ministries, and then, clearly for businesses, but we have sales and we do text follow-up. Hey, oh man, thanks so much for joining. Thanks for coming in today. Thanks for visiting our site. You added your product to the cart, but you didn't finish. Whatever it is, we're doing text follow-ups. We're doing email follow-ups, especially if we're sending an email over a text, or excuse me, an email over a text, a video over a text. That's really powerful. They're like, oh my gosh, this is a real person. We might even do a phone follow-up and actually call them. And I will tell you, if you're watching this and this hasn't happened yet, artificial intelligence are quickly getting very convincing voices to the point where you almost can't tell they're AI. And as of right now, it is March of 2024. By the end of the year, I won't be surprised if you will be able to hook in an artificial intelligence and do follow-up callbacks and really connect with people and scale that to the moon. You can call everybody every day of the week if you want. I don't recommend that, but you could. Lastly, CRM is a customer relationship management platform. There are some of these specific to churches. There are some of these specific to businesses. I say just get a good one. You don't need one specific to your exact industry. You don't need one specific to your exact church or denomination or whatever it is. Find a customer relationship management platform that works well and run people into it. If you are a service industry, business, or church, which is a service, we obviously offer services, men's and women's and Sunday services and all this stuff. All CRMs are essentially going to be the same. They take people who are leads and helps to build a relationship with them so that they either purchase again or come back. And, I wouldn't recommend getting overly switching your CRM all the time. That's not the point. Just meet people's needs and then call them to action, and they're going to come. A lot of people get really bogged down in this and they're always switching and switching. It just takes so much time. Most of them are the same. As long as it works, you're probably good. So that's a CRM, and we use that to track all of the communications we have with any individual churchgoer or client, and we want to build that relationship. So anytime they call, we can just pop that up and be like, oh yeah, hey Phil, I remember last time we talked, we talked about this. And he's like, man, this guy's good. He remembers me. And so that's what a CRM is for. We used a lot of those when I was in sales. And so anyway, this is the close phase. We build that relationship. And then as we build the relationship, we're diagnosing the problem. And then we say, it sounds like what you're looking for is blank. Sounds like what you need is, SEO services. You need us to come in, you need us to make a big keyword profile for your website, and you just bring that in and map those keywords onto all the pages and make sure you're showing up on Google. Oh my gosh, that's exactly what we need. All right, well, listen, sounds like you probably need the middle plan. Why don't we just go ahead and get you started? All right, let's do it. Okay, so that is the call to action. Let's get started. Come to church, you know, plan my visit, save my seat, add to cart. These are all ways that we can call to action. Check out now. And so this is the process of the marketing funnel, from traffic generation marketing, which is connect, lead generation marketing, which is convert, and then the sales process, which is close. And then we call them to action, apply right now. And one thing that I will just point out as we're going through here is that in the Christian world, within the church and ministry bubbles, because I've worked with secular organizations, I've worked with Christian. I went to school to be a pastor. I am obviously deeply committed to Christ and the church, and that's why I'm here talking to you. Business people know when a sales process kicks in, but I work with ministries and ministry leaders frequently, and I'll say, okay, we're a Christian school. What's missing here? And we'll say, well, we've got marketing and admissions, and we've got sports and academics, and we've got all this stuff. I don't think anything's missing. A sales process is missing. Because when we ask mom to give us $10,000 for 9 months of school or 6 months of school and their child, you are selling something. That is a very expensive purchase, and you are doing sales. And a lot of ministries, whether it's in Christian counseling or Christian education or whatever it is, we don't realize we need a sales process and sales training for communication, especially when there's a business element, like I said, like a school or counseling or something like that. When there are numbers involved, you need someone to go and who knows how to get people to commit to purchasing. That is very important. Another ministry that we worked with actually had 2 very large apartment buildings that was a ministry, and they were terribly in debt because their ministry was not profitable. It didn't make enough money, and the mortgage was eating them alive. Why wasn't it making any money? Because they were just giving away all the rooms for free. You cannot run a sustainable ministry that way. You have to charge something. You have to break even, and that requires a sales process. So it is important to know when it is appropriate to apply a sales process in a ministry. And so there are 2 parts of the marketing funnel. We're connecting, we're converting, and then we're doing the relationship building and the sales process. And so that is going to bring us to the end of this video on the marketing funnel. And this kind of tells you where each strategy falls into place and where you should be adding things in. With that, thank you for being in this video. I'll see you in the next one. God bless.